Welcome back to Blitzkrieg Intel Update number 6. I'm Naberzunner, and we have the whole team, Tack, the Archiver, our veteran Liz is a Dolphin, and Water KH, the Cipher Master, here to discuss Gorod Krovi Ascii Cipher, the Summoning Key. This cipher was decoded on CODs by Oxen8 as follows. Canorium excerpt 349561223. The Summoning Key is one of the oldest artifacts in all creation. It was used by the first one to mix all the dimensions with life, giving each one its unique balance. Under certain circumstances, it has the ability to form bridges between dimensions, allowing the transfer of life forces back and forth. It resides in the 63rd dimensions of creation. So, this is loaded, just loaded with implications and with information for us to debate about, so hence the inclusion of all three of our greats here. Let's go ahead and start with Tack. Why not?
Yeah, so this, there's the first thing you have to address when looking at this is the 63 dimensions of creation at the minimum. Is kind of, I don't know, we've got these quotes from Dr. Monty in Gorod Krovi where he talks about this metaphorical hammer that, that shattered the universes into a lot of, mini universes and things like that. But you have to remember that these 63 dimensions were around before that. This is pre-hammer shattering nonsense that Monty likes to talk about.
Oh, that's a good point.
And so I think that is really interesting. And then also, Mixmaster Nut and Monopoly Mac were talking about how they were counting all of the Earths on the Shadow of Evil scrap, and they said they were getting different numbers each time that they did it, but it was in the 60s each time. So if we want to, maybe postulate that there's 63 there, that's also kind of interesting.
We could also, wouldn't that be post creation, post whatever though? Wouldn't that be after the hammer? So wouldn't those represent those shattered dimensions or shattered universes?
I guess that's a great debating point though. Is like Tack said, it seems like that the universes were around.
Yeah, because it says the summoning key was used by the first one, whatever that is, to mix all the dimensions with life, and it seems, I don't know, that kind of has these 63 dimensions, they kind of put a positive light on it. It sounds like, they were okay with it and they filled it with life and stuff. Whereas Monty talked about the shattering as a very negative thing that we need to fix. So I don't know. That's kind of where I drew that distinction.
Yeah, so they're separate, right?
I think those are separate events.
So yeah, going off that point a little bit, this cipher also mentions dimensions, which when I think of dimensions, I think of third dimension and then fourth dimension with time and space. It kind of seems like they're using this term dimensions as kind of like a word for universes.
So kind of synonymous.
Right, kind of like a catch-all.
Yeah, which I don't think is very, I think they should have made a distinction between those.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think that they've definitely been a little shaky with the way that they use dimensions and realms and universes and things like that. Hopefully they're going to start clearing it up, and these ciphers will be a way to do that.
This is a long-standing debate in the zombies community as to whether, what the difference between each of those is. And I actually have a point that you'd like to make about that, but Liz, would you have thoughts on that as well, or on the cipher?
Not particularly on the topic of dimensions, but on the particular sentence that says, under certain circumstances, it has the ability to form bridges between dimensions, allowing the transfer of life forces back and forth, which I think we've seen in the end cutscene of Gorod Krovi, that the souls are transferred, and we see them float up, and they're gone, they're somewhere.
Well, that is a portal. What we've seen there, we've seen that that portal does go between universes at least. So, I think that's a fair suggestion for sure.
One thing I wonder is, and I think we definitely can't pass over this, where it says it was used by the first one. What do you guys take that to mean? I wonder if not necessarily if that's Monty, but that's his position, say he was the 30th one or the 40th one or something. Do you take that to be the same position, different person, or something else entirely?
Well, it kind of reminds me of the other ciphers we were talking about how they're kind of paralleling kind of the the story and Revelations with like the angels being thrown out of heaven, kind of being
Sure.
like the apothecons and stuff. It kind of reminds me like maybe they're trying to go off of that. So maybe they're trying to like incorporate these different religious ideas.
That could be.
I wanted to also point out the fact it mentions the first one, and we don't know particularly who they are or what their particular role is, except for the fact that they mixed all the dimensions with life. But we have seen mentions of the one in previous installments of the game.
Really?
We've seen the song titled The One. We have seen an
That's an interesting
archangel,
point.
I guess you could call it like an interlude of sorts. Why do we end up here, live in fire and feel so cold? We burn together forever, waiting for the one.
Waiting for the one. Oh, wow.
Interesting.
I did not think
That's
about
okay.
that.
Good parallel.
Nice catch.
That's awesome. I didn't even think of that.
Guys, we're running short on time, but I want to actually rebut both you and WaterTac about the dimensions argument, because I actually have a different perspective suggesting perhaps that dimensions is in the traditional sense of the first dimension being a dot, second, or a line, second being a two-dimensional shape, a third being a cube, so on, or whatever shape you want to choose there.
Sure.
If you think about it, our universe, our realm is made up of these dimensions. They are the puzzle pieces. They are the body, the very essence of our universe. So in order for all of those things to come together, you create them, you put them together, and then you fill them all with life, and the universe exists. So to say that it resides in the 63rd dimensions of creation, that's a very interesting way of phrasing it. Dimensions is plural there. It's
right.
like it treats it almost like a property of creation and not necessarily a place, just from my perspective. So, I think what I'm suggesting here is that maybe we can keep an open mind about the possibility that there are 63 known dimensions and that the summoning key operates kind of on that 63rd dimension.
Well, to me, it kind of like put braces on it. Just because that wording after the 63rd dimensions, so it makes me think that or that it operates in all of them. Kind of like the 54 immortals, it's like there's brackets around them, like the 54 immortals. It kind of reminds me of this could be 63rd dimensions. It's kind of like brackets. It's like there are only 63 dimensions, and the summoning key operates in all of them, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. It specifies it as being an object that is not limited to one specific dimension. I think that's an incredible point to make. So as a last point to touch on, as usual, Water, would you give us a layman's explanation for what exactly an Ascii cipher is?
Yeah, so basically this is just another kind of encoding. They enciphered it in Roman numerals, and when you convert those to base 10, or the normal numbering system, so 0 to 10, or 0 to 9, and then rolls over to 10, then you can use Ascii encoding to convert those numbers into actual letters that form words and such.
Thanks so much for your thoughts, guys. A lot of info here. I think we can continue, and we'll continue to draw ideas from this for who knows how long to come. Thanks so much for watching, folks, and we will see y'all next time.